What are the best and worst small crossover SUVs that you can buy? That's what we're going to find out. Welcome to Car Corner, where we help you, the consumer, master the process of car buying and car ownership. For this video, I'm going to share 5 of the very best small subcompact crossover SUVs that you can buy brand new, that offer the best reliability, safety, and the best value for your money. I'm also going to share 5 crossovers that are the complete opposite that you should not waste your money on and you should just avoid buying altogether. But before getting into it, remember, if you enjoy and get value out of this video, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. So let's start off with the first SUV that you should be buying, and that one is the Subaru CrossTrek. The CrossTrek is one of the best-selling small crossover SUVs that you can buy brand new. And that has a lot to do with its amazing reputation for having really strong reliability and just offering really good value for your money. The CrossTrek is available with 2 different engines. You can either get a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine, or if you can spend a little bit more money for one of the higher trims, a much more powerful 2.5-liter engine, which is the better choice to go with. All versions of the CrossTrek though come with a CVT and Subaru symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive, which is one of the best all-wheel drive systems available from any brand. And if you want something that's a little bit more off-road capable, or maybe just has that more rugged, outdoorsy look, you can also get the CrossTrek with the Wilderness trim, which even has a really impressive towing capacity of up to 3,500 pounds, way more than anything else in this class. You also get a fairly comfortable and spacious interior, and the CrossTrek has a really good safety rating from the IIHS, along with Subaru's EyeSight Active Safety technology. For the price, it's an excellent crossover to go with and an easy recommendation no matter which version you go with. And now moving on to a crossover that you should avoid buying and not waste your money on, we have the Kia Soul. Now normally I don't like to bash affordable vehicles because with today's really high car prices, having more affordable options on the market is really only a good thing. But the Kia Soul is one that I just cannot recommend buying, at least not for long-term ownership, and that's because of its reputation for reliability. The Soul uses a 2-liter direct injection 4-cylinder engine, which unfortunately has been plagued with a lot of reliability issues over the past several years. This is the same engine that's part of the enormous Kia and Hyundai safety recall, where these engines have been known to completely fail or sometimes even catch on fire. Both companies have recalled millions of vehicles with these engines that have been made over the past decade. And complaints from owners involving oil consumption, engine problems, and total engine failure are unfortunately very common. And even though Kia claims that they've solved this issue on the new models, who really knows? After all, they have made that claim in the past, only to expand the recall to more and more vehicles and newer vehicles, so it's really hard to put a lot of faith in them. This engine can also be found on other vehicles, including the lower trims of the Hyundai Kona and the Kia Seltos, but at least on those 2 vehicles you do have an optional turbocharged engine that allows you to avoid this risk. But that's not the case with the Soul, which only comes with the 2-liter engine, so unfortunately if you're looking for a vehicle for long-term ownership, this is one that's just best to avoid. And next up, let's move on to a crossover that you should be buying, and that would be the Honda HR-V. If you're looking for reliability, safety, in a really spacious and fuel-efficient package, the Honda HR-V is an excellent all-around choice. Even though this is a small subcompact crossover, it does have a rather spacious interior and a surprising amount of cargo space. It's also very comfortable to drive, and even though it doesn't have a lot of power, the engine is very smooth and refined, more so than a lot of other crossovers in this price range. The naturally aspirated 2-liter 4-cylinder engine also has a really good reputation for solid reliability, so you're likely not going to have too many issues with this one. And not only is the HR-V reliable, but it also has a really good safety rating from the IIHS, and you also get a lot of standard active safety features as part of Honda Sensing. So as a whole, this is another really solid choice, and an excellent pick for someone who wants a small, but still very spacious and practical crossover SUV. But I can't say the same about the next SUV on the list, which is the Volkswagen Taos. I've criticized the Taos in past videos a few times, and for a good reason. If you want a small SUV, this is really not a good choice to go for. The first problem with it is that the all-wheel drive models come with a dual-clutch automated manual transmission, which is one of the worst types of transmissions that you can have in a vehicle like this. Unfortunately, dual clutch transmissions are sometimes known to be a little bit jerky and unrefined, especially at lower speeds, and this can only become more problematic as the vehicle ages. It also has a 1.4-liter turbocharged engine that's a little bit underpowered and overstressed as well. Now, it's one thing to have a complicated drivetrain from a reliable brand, but unfortunately, Volkswagen is not always known for making the most reliable vehicles long term, and they can also be extremely expensive to repair. And to top things off, the Taos is just a really expensive, overpriced vehicle for what you're getting, costing thousands more than comparable crossovers from better, more reliable brands. So this is one that's just not worth wasting your money on because you have way better options that you could be buying instead. And now moving on to another crossover that you should be buying, we have the Mazda CX30. The CX30 is basically a crossover version of Mazda's really popular compact car, the Mazda 3. And it has all the same great qualities of the Mazda 3, including a very sporty ride with surprisingly good handling, a very comfortable, upscale feeling interior that's filled with really nice premium materials, and a stylish, premium looking design. Only because this is a crossover, you get more ground clearance, a higher ride height, and standard all-wheel drive. The CX30 also gives you a choice between either a 2.5-liter naturally aspirated engine, or you can get the same 4-cylinder engine in a turbocharged version, which makes up to 250 horsepower. That makes this the most powerful crossover that you can buy in this price range. So if you want a vehicle that has really strong performance, this is the one for you. And not only does it have really strong performance, but it has a terrific safety rating, and it has really strong reliability as well. So really, this one is a really safe choice that you don't need to be concerned with. If you want style, performance, sportiness, and a little bit of luxury all wrapped together in a really value-packed package, the CX30 is an excellent choice. But I wouldn't say the same about the next crossover, which is the Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, also known as the Mitsubishi RVR. Now, the Outlander Sport, or the RVR as it's known in Canada, is not exactly a terrible SUV when it comes to quality or reliability. It's actually proven to be fairly decent in that area, and Mitsubishi does offer one of the longest warranties on the market, giving you peace of mind. It's just that in almost every other way, this is a really unremarkable SUV, and a fairly dated one as well. The interior is pretty cheap feeling and has very dated technology. You don't have the best safety features or the highest safety rating either. And it's not the greatest driving SUV either, with underwhelming performance and a rather unrefined, noisy ride. Now, many would be willing to overlook those things if you could get one of these for a really attractive price. But unfortunately, it's not really any cheaper than much better crossovers that you can be buying in a very similar price range. So it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense, especially when you're going to have to contend with Mitsubishi's much smaller dealer network, which brings more issues when it comes to servicing and parts availability in the long run. Personally, I just wouldn't bother with it and instead would go for a much better alternative instead, such as the next SUV on the list, which is the Toyota Corolla Cross. No question, the Corolla Cross is one of the best SUVs in its segment, and there are many great reasons for that. First off, the Corolla Cross is one of the very few subcompact SUVs that you can buy that's available as a hybrid. And it's a very good hybrid system at that, more than enough performance, very smooth and refined, and really impressive fuel economy. And if you just want something at a lower price or something a little bit more basic, you can still get the Corolla Cross with a normal 4-cylinder engine as well. Either way, both versions have an outstanding reputation for having excellent reliability, making this a great SUV to buy for long-term ownership. It also has a surprisingly spacious interior with really good cargo space, lots of available features, active safety technology, and a really good safety score. And to top it off, the pricing is really reasonable, making this an absolute no-brainer of a purchase. And then on the flip side, we have one that's the complete opposite, and that would be the Mini Countryman. I've spoken of this one in the past, and all things considered, the Countryman is a vehicle that I just can't recommend. It's not a particularly comfortable or great driving SUV with fairly underwhelming performance, and it just doesn't feel like it's worth its price tag, which is surprisingly high. Mini, of course, is owned by BMW, and even though this is intended to be a much more affordable vehicle, there's really not much that's that affordable about it. The The pricing just seems extremely high for what you're getting, and not only that, it has a fairly underwhelming reputation for reliability as well. So even though it doesn't have a BMW badge on the hood, it certainly has BMW-like repair bills. If you want a small crossover that's a little bit more upscale and has that luxury feel, you'd be much better off buying the next vehicle on the list, which is the Lexus UX 250h. The UX is the smallest and the most affordable crossover that Lexus makes, but it comes with all the same great benefits that you get with almost every other Lexus model. It's extremely well made and has an outstanding reputation for reliability, making this a really good choice for a vehicle that you can buy and hold for a really long time. It's also remarkably efficient. The UX 250h has a hybrid drivetrain similar to that found in the Corolla Cross Hybrid. So what we basically have here is a small luxury SUV that has the fuel economy, the reliability, and the low operating costs of an economy vehicle. And that sounds like a pretty good combination to me. Now the UX is certainly not a very spacious vehicle. It does have a rather cramped interior and not a lot of cargo space. But if those things are not really a priority for you, this is a great vehicle to go for. And then on the other side, we have a small crossover that's the complete opposite, and that would be the Mercedes GLA. The GLA unfortunately has the honor of having one of the lowest owner satisfaction ratings of almost any new vehicle that you can buy in 2023. Mercedes is a luxury brand that's not only supposed to be about delivering luxury, but refinement and comfort as well. And these are things that seem to be missing from the GLA. It's also a very small vehicle, so it really doesn't offer a lot of interior space or cargo space, so it's not very good at the SUV qualities either. And finally, you have the reputation for build quality and reliability, which is another area where Mercedes tends to suffer in. Now it's true, many European luxury brands, whether it's BMW, Audi, or Mercedes, tend to be very expensive to repair as they age past the warranty period, and the reliability can really be hit or miss. But at least in the case of the others, until you get to that point, you do get better performance, more interior space, or better technology or comfort. Whereas with the GLA, you really don't get any of that. So consider this one just another overpriced, underwhelming SUV that's not worth wasting your money on. So there you have it. Let me know what you thought of this list and which of these vehicles you would consider buying. Just comment below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. You can also check out my other videos by clicking these links over here. Make sure to follow me on Instagram. And if you need any additional car buying advice, recommendations, or help with getting a great deal on your next new car purchase, make sure to visit carhelpcan.com. Thanks so much for watching, and see you next time.